Welcome back, Jay Mullis. Mullis had been serving in an interim role for the past year at headquarters in D.C., but is now home with us in East Tennessee full-time. He has returned his role as manager of the EM organization here, so we wanted to check in with him now that he's back walking the halls of the federal building. Public affairs specialist Ben Williams caught up with Mullis.
So welcome back.
Thanks, Ben.
You've been at headquarters for, I guess, over a year now, and this is the 2-week mark where you're back in Oak Ridge.
It was interesting for me to get there, and I've been with EM, in fact, back before it was called EM, since 1995, and thought I pretty well knew everybody that. No, there's people that have worked here longer than I had. I didn't know who they were or what they did. So it was interesting from that perspective to get there and find out what all they did.
Really broad portfolio.
Yeah.
You get exposure to a lot of things. You've been with EM for a long time. But
I'll go ahead and say it.
Yes. It sounds like you're
Ben,
still...
I remember how we came up with the formula for dirt. Since I'm as old as dirt. So, yeah.
Did it give you exposure to new things or new appreciation for EM in any
Yes.
ways?
So it allowed me to see better how EM at the headquarters level fits in with the other program offices. You had somebody acting in 4.1 and you had, in 4.2 and somebody acting in 4.3. So one of the first things was to get those SES positions filled. So we did that. Maybe that was my biggest accomplishment. I don't know.
I was about to ask, what are you most proud of from your time there?
Probably that, which is not a trivial exercise anymore. You would think that backfilling would be, but getting those key positions in place, and then probably some of the work we did on high-level waste.
D.C. or Oak Ridge?
South Carolina. So
You've learned the art of negotiation from your time
I don't know about that. I've enjoyed my time at both. I will tell you that moving into that role was quite the stretch for me. I mean, my career going all the way back to when I worked for the Navy was a field focus, right? You had physical work to accomplish, and when it got accomplished, it was done. Whether it was overhauling and refueling a nuclear submarine, getting it back out to the fleet, or tearing down buildings, cleaning up dirt, you can see physical progress. That's a lot harder at headquarters, especially in the organization I was in, because most of the work that you would enable takes place down at the field level, and so you get to a point and you kind of turn it back over, right? So you kind of set a policy up, help move some things, perhaps through the Federal Register, that type of thing. Once that's done, now it's okay, field, go get with your contractor.
Thank you for taking the time to sit down and tell us about your experience.
Yep.
Thank you, Ben. Laura Wilkerson had been leading the EM organization in Oak Ridge while Mullis fulfilled his duties at headquarters. Wilkerson is now continuing her previous position as deputy manager. With Mullis back in Oak Ridge, we've got an update on his previous position on EM's leadership team in Washington. EM announced that Randy Hendrickson will now serve as the acting principal deputy assistant secretary for regulatory and policy affairs. Hendrickson previously served as a senior advisor in the Office of Field Operations. He started in this new role on January 29th.